Okay, tayo ay magpatuloy. Meron pong isang oras at kalahati si Brother Pinder para mag-present. Ngayon po ay bibigyan natin siya ng panahon muli na makapag-present siya ng isang oras at kalahati. Okay, ngayon po ay bigyan na natin ng panahon sa kanya. Nandito naman na sila, Sister Anda.
Okay, good morning mga kapatid.
Good morning.
Good morning mga kapatid kay Kristo. So, maraming salamat. Purihin natin ang Panginoon sa pagkakataon na yung kanyang binigay at tayo po dito ay mag-aral. Mag-aral po sa salita ng Diyos at sa kasaysayan ng kanyang iglesia. Basa ko dun sa social media kagabi. Pero mga viewers natin na nagre-react na at hindi sila nakagusto na merong mangyayari na nasabi nilang debate sa pagitan ng dalawang nag-aangkin na reform movement. Meron namang dumidepensa na ay hindi naman ito debate, kundi kailangan lang talagang may pag-aaral at wala namang problema kung ang pag-aaral ay gagawin sa maganda at mapayapang pamamaraan. Kaya patuloy po natin, hindi sapat yon yung komentaryo na yun.
Bluetooth device is ready to pair.
Hindi natin ipagpatuloy itong ginagawa natin sapagkat maganda po talaga ang pag-aaral. Teka muna, saan ba yung action here?
Hindi na,
Ay, wala. Okay. So anyway. Okay, sa muli, magandang umaga sa inyo mga kapatid. Tayo po ay magpapatuloy ngayon sa ating sinumulan na pag-aaral ng salita ng Diyos at ng kasaysayan ng kanyang iglesia sa huling araw. Ayon dito sa outward look, babasa niyo pa yung quotation doon. God has a church. It is not the great cathedral, neither is it the national establishment, neither is it the various denominations. Tinutukoy dyan yung mga fallen churches, no? It is the people who love God and keep His commandments. So ano na po yung tunay na bayan ng Diyos? It is the people who love God and keep His commandments. Hindi sinabi na it is the people na na-register sa ganito. No? Hindi. It is the people who love God and keep His commandments. Where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them. Matthew 18:20. Where Christ is, even among the humble few, this is Christ's church. For the presence of the high and holy one who inhabited eternity can alone constitute a church. Yan po ang nasusulat yan. At yan po ang pinapaniwalaan ng Islam. Kaya doon po sa mga gumagamit ng argumento o kaya kung minsan may nag-iisip na sabi ng Islam daw ay ang patunay nila na sila ang totoong iglesia ay pangalan, kaya registration, o kaya building. Hindi po yun. Wala po yun. Hindi yun. Yun ay ano lang yan, property ng bayan ng Diyos. Pero hindi yun ang magpaging bayan ng Diyos. Ano po yung magpaging bayan ng Diyos sa isang one or three put that together? It is the presence of Christ. Okay, sabi dito, where Christ is, even among the humble few, this is Christ's church. For the presence of the high and holy one who inhabited eternity can alone, alone constitute a church. So regardless kung gaano ka laki ang isang organization, ang isang grupo, gaano man ito kayaman, gaano man ito kadaming mga institution, if the presence of Christ is not in their midst, they would not constitute as the Church of God. Tuloy po natin. Parang nadoble yan. Okay. Where 2 or 3 are present who love and obey the commandments of God. Tingnan natin yan, ha? Where 2 or 3 are present who love and obey the commandments of God, Jesus there resides. Ano dito? Natin. If we love and obey God's commandments, Jesus resides in our midst. Let it be in the desolate place of the earth. Ay, palos malayo sa kabiasnan. In the wilderness, in the city enclosed in prison walls, the glory of God hath penetrated the prison walls, flooding with glorious beams of heavenly light the darkest dungeon. His saints may suffer, but their suffering will, like the apostles of old, spread their faith and win souls to Christ and glorify His holy name. The bitterest opposition expressed by those who hate God's great moral standard of righteousness shall not and will not shake the steadfast soul who trusts fully in God. Righteousness. Yan po ang katotohanan, mga kapatid. Panghawakan po natin yan. I-claim natin yung promise presence ng Holy Spirit. Pero wag natin kalimutan yung condition. Ano yung condition? We have to love God and keep His commandments. So what assurance, do we have? What would assure us that we have Christ's presence and we are His true church? Sabi ng 2 John chapter 1 verse 9, whosoever transgresseth and abideth not in the doctrine of Christ hath not God. He that abideth in the doctrine of Christ, he hath both the Father and the Son. Yan. So it is obedience to the commandments of God because of love in the heart. Sinabi natin love, kasama na yung faith doon. Isa lang naman ang symbol na ginamit po ng Biblia to represent faith and love. And what is that? Gold tried in the fire. At tandaan din natin ang isang bagay na ito. There are true Christians in every church, and He is calling them to join in His church, meaning His organized and acknowledged church. Sabi ng John 10 verse 16, and other sheep I have, which are not of this fold. Yung fold dito yung God's organized church. Them also I must bring, and they shall hear my voice, and there shall be one fold and one shepherd. Hindi ko lang din linagay dito yung isang quotation sa Desire of Ages 821 na tayo. Na kalooban ng Panginoon that all who believe shall be gathered into one church. Okay, pero sinabi dito, anong tawag po ng Panginoon dito sa other sheep na wala pa doon sa fold, yung organized church of God? Nangyari nasa ibang fold o nasa ibang lugar na hindi fold, scattered. Pero they are sheep. Sabi ng Great Controversy 449, but Christians of past generations observed the Sunday, supposing that in so doing they were keeping the Bible Sabbath. And there are now true Christians in every church. Anong tawag dun sa mga sheep that not found? and the God's organized and acknowledged church, yung fold na kinikilala niya, God's fold, they are true Christians. They are found where? In every church. Not excepting the Roman Catholic Communion. Kaya kahit doon sa Roman Catholic Church, may mga true Christians doon. Yung mga sheep God, who honestly believe that Sunday is the Sabbath of divine appointment. And siyempre, they also have in their heart to love God. And they are also willing to keep the commandments of God. The only thing is, yung teaching na sinusunod nila is, merong pagkukulang sa inaituro sa kanila na commandments of God, like instead of keeping the 7-day Sabbath, yung first day ang kinikip nila. Pero ang isip nila ay, yun na yung true Sabbath. But they are doing it ignorantly. God accepts their sincerity of purpose and their integrity before Him. Okay. So matatawag ba sila na bayan ng Diyos? Yung mga true Christians in every church? Matatawag din po sila. Revelation 18 verse 4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, "Come out of her, my people." Tagalog. Lumabas kayo sa kanya, bayan ko, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not at her plagues. Yan po ang totoo, mga kapatid. Kaya meron pong bayan ng Diyos, at totoong bayan ng Diyos sa iba't ibang denominations. Yung tinatawag niya true Christians in every church. Bayan ng Diyos pa rin yun. And although meron silang pinaniniwalaan na wrong, pero ignorantly na ginagawa nila yon, thinking that they were doing it right. Yan po ay God accepts their sincerity of purpose. Hindi sila pananagutin ng Diyos sa mga bagay na hindi nila alam. Accountability comes only when there is light na dumating. Pag dumating na yung liwanag, naintindihan mo, ayaw mong tanggapin, then you are accountable. Okay. Kaya yung enlightened na, nalaman nila ng katotohanan, but they chose rather to stick with error, to continue with error. Ay, hindi po yan katanggap-tanggap. They cannot defend themselves by saying, sincere ako dito. Hindi pwede yan. Kaya sabi, faith in a lie will not have a sanctifying influence upon the life or character. No error is truth or can be made truth by repetition or by faith in it. Sincerity will never save a soul from the consequences of believing an error. Okay. Kahit sincere ka, sasabihin mo yung fallen church, nandiyan ka sa fallen church, hindi tunay na bayan ng Diyos. I-claim mo na sincere ka dyan. Okay, i-consider ng Panginoon yung sincerity mo kung ikaw ay hindi nakakaalam. But once na dumating na sa iyo yung kaalaman, hindi mo na pwedeng i-depensa ang sarili mo dyan dahil sa sincerity. Hindi na po pwede. You will be accountable. Okay. So, sincerity will never save a soul from the consequences of believing an error. Without sincerity, there is no true religion, which is correct. But sincerity in a false religion will never save a man. Sabagay, kahit naman sa true religion, yung sincerity mo, kung yun lang, sincerity mo, sincere ka doon sa pero kung yung action mo naman ay hindi tumutugma, ay hindi rin pwede. Yun narinig ko sa isang nag-comment sa social media. Kasi it is not enough. Sabi niya, ang Savior pa rin is Jesus Christ. Kahit sincere ka sa religion ngayon, kung wala kang pananampalataya kay Kristo, ay wala ka pa rin. Because the determinant factor is Jesus Christ. Tama din naman yun, yung sinabi niya. Okay. I may be perfectly sincere in following a wrong road, but that will not make it the right road or bring me to the place I wish to reach. Kaya, tama po na dapat talaga makaral tayo ng mabuti. Okay? The Lord does not want us to have a blind credulity. Ano ibig sabihin yun? Yung pang hindi mo alam, hindi mo pinag-aralan. Basta sumunod ka lang kahit hindi mo naintindihan. Hindi po tama yung blind credulity na yan. The Lord does not want us to have a blind credulity and call that the faith that sanctifies. Hindi po. The truth is the principle that sanctifies, and therefore it becomes us to know what is truth. Whether in doctrine or in history, it becomes us to know what is truth. Hindi po pwede na panghawakan natin yung error. The truth is the principle that sanctifies, and therefore it becomes us to know what is truth. We must compare spiritual things with spiritual, whether it is in doctrine or in history. Kung sa doctrine ay compare natin yung mga Bible verses, different Bible verses in the Bible, sabi nga doon, to arrive at proper doctrines, we have to consider line upon line, precept upon precept, here a little and there a little. Ganon din sa pag-aaral sa history. We have to consider all the available documents, available evidence. Hindi lang tayo mag-focus sa iisa. Kagaya ng minutes. Yung minutes ay, that is a valuable reference para malaman natin ang tunay na kasaysayan. But that is not the only reference. There are a lot of things sa history ng church which you cannot read in the minutes. Mamabasa lang natin sa minutes, mga kapatid, ay yung event lang po doon sa during the session. Pero yung minutes, hindi pa rin sapat because there are many things na transpire doon sa session na hindi recorded sa minutes. Unless na merong parang during the session ay merong recorded, kagaya ngayon, pagkatapos lahat-lahat ngayon. Tapos may tao na talagang masipag na katapos nun ay isulat niya lahat yung transpire. But it will become one session, magiging siguro ganito, mas makapal pa dito. Ang magiging result ng minutes. Okay. So, we have to consider other. Yung Bible principle na here a little and there a little, precept upon precept, we have to consider document upon documents. Mag-rely tayo sa minutes, mag-rely tayo sa mga magazines, sa mga publications, books, and even private letters. Ginagamit po natin yan. And those are called documents. Pagka nagiging kasi, black and white na, documents na ang tawag doon. Okay, tuloy natin. We must prove all things. Prove all things. Kaya nga, merong question and answer. Kaya kung minsan, yung mga speakers, kami ng mga speakers, kung minsan pagdating doon sa mga question and answers, medyo kinakabahan. Ano kaya itatanong sila? Kung hanapin nila sa ating internet dokumento, will I be able to produce the documents? Kasi we have to prove this. We have to prove, siyempre, hindi ka naman basta-basta maniwala without proof. Kaya vice versa lang yun. Kung tayo hinahanapan ng proof, siyempre sa atin din nakahanap din tayo ng proof. Okay. But in principle, we should be fair in applying principle. Kung ina-apply natin, nagdi-demand tayo sa iba, we should expect na they will also demand the same thing with us. Ganyan. Kaya halimbawa, tinatanong sa kay Brother Ian, saan bang evidence mo, patunayan mo yung sinasabi mo? Bago ako maniwala, we should apply it to others. Eh di, yung other side, pag magsalita din, we should apply the same principle. Mag-demand din tayo ng proof. That is fair. Hindi yung, minsan, meron mga iba kasi na hindi fair yung application nila sa principle. Pag yung nagustuhan nila ang yung kanilang parang preference ang nagsasalita, kahit walang pinapakita na proof, accept. Pero pag doon sa medyo hindi sila inclined. Ano po ang doon nangyayari? Kahit nagbasa ng proof, hihingi pa ng other proof. Kahit binasa, hihingi pa ng other. Na parang hindi makontento. Yun po yung sinasabi natin na minsan bias. Kung kaya doon, ina-apply ko yun sa aking sarili. Hindi ako exempted. Hindi dahil sa isdam na kasama ko, pagka siya ang nagsalita, kahit without proof, lulunukin ko na lang. Hindi pwede. Kaya ako kahit yung mga pag nagse-seminar kami, may mga leaders tayong dumarating, nagpapaseminar, in doctrine or history, uusitahin, saan ba ito? Para sa sarili ko yun, at para din sa akin ibabahagi sa iba. Kasi, okay, kung hindi ako ngayon na maghingi ng evidence dito sa aming speakers, alis niya, i-re-echo ko ngayon sa iba, hihingi sila ng evidence, wala akong maipakita. Ay di, lagot ako. Hindi naman yun. Ano ka naman sasabihin? Galing sa kanya. Paano nila tatanungin? Bumalik na sa Amerika, ba? Importante po talaga na we have to prove all things. But hold fast only that which is good. Sabi nga nila, sa mga pagkain daw, meron talagang bahagi na dapat kainin at hindi dapat kainin. Kung sa mga mangangain ng karne, sabi, kainin lang yung laman. Huwag kainin pati buto. Iwanan yung buto. So pag nakikinig tayo, kahit sinong speaker, regardless kung ano ang denomination na nandyan nanggaling, we have to try the spirit. We have to listen. Huwag tayong close-minded. Pakinig pa rin tayo. And then pag merong mabuti, sikapin natin yung hindi tama, huwag natin isamang tanggapin. Okay. Hold fast to that which is good, which bears the divine credentials, which lay before us the true motives and principles, which should prompt us to action. Okay, that ends my introductory message, mga kapatid. Dadako na po tayo dito sa aaral sa history, sa presentation. Kaya, ano po yung sabi dito? Yung last portion na binasa natin, prove all things. Pero merong isang statement dito. No error is truth or can be made truth by repetition. Tandaan po natin yan. Kahit paulit-ulit na binibigkas, kahit paulit-ulit na sinasabi, kung error, it will remain an error. By repeating the error, it will not become truth. Pero sakto sa mga kapatid, ayon sa pag-aaral at sa spirit of prophecy, hindi ko lang ibibigay sa inyo ngayon yung quotation. Yung mga error, kapag paulit-ulit na napapakinggan, doon sa nakikinig, it will become truth para sa kanya. Pero error pa rin yun, but it will become truth para sa kanya kasi napaulit-ulit na naririnig niya. Yun ang danger. Yun po ang danger. Pero we will escape that danger. Ma-avoid natin yung danger na yun pagka tayo po ay nag-aaral ng sarili natin. Hindi tayo madadaya. And we will pray that God will give us the spiritual discernment to discern between truth and error. Pero pag hindi tayo po mag-aaral, talagang yung mali, paulit-ulit na napapakinggan natin na sinesermon, mamaya, parang tama. Nung umpisa, may doubt tayo. Pero sa susunod, parang mawawala na yung doubt, tapos papalitan na ng faith. Pero error pala. Kaya faith in a lie will not have a saving influence upon the life or character. Danger ko. Kaya, eto, I would like to make this statement. Hindi ko ibig sabihin na tanggapin niyo itong sasabihin ko outright without investigation. You have to prove it. Repeating the error that on May 20, 1951, the 11 delegates left the Church of God na na-register sa Amerika in 1949 sa pangalan ng Islam General Conference at nag-organize sila ng bagong Islam General Conference na kung tawagin ay M51 or 51 movement cannot make that error truth. Subject for your investigation yan. That is my personal conclusion. Evaluation based sa pag-aaral. If I'm willing to submit it to you, you evaluate. Hindi ko sinasabi niya, just accept because I say. Evaluate it and decide on the basis of the weight of evidence. Repeating the error that on May 20, 1951, the 11 delegates left the Church of God na na-register sa Amerika in 1949 sa pangalan ng Islam General Conference at nag-organize sila ng bagong Islam General Conference na kung tawagin ay M51 or 51 movement cannot make that error truth. This erroneous teaching regarding the history of Islam that took place in 1951 will remain an error even if it is repeated 1,000,000 times. No error is truth or can be made truth by repetition or by faith in it. Yan po mga kapatid. So, dito tayo. Actually, mahaba po yung aking hinanda. Dito tayo sa, yung study po sa event sa 1951 ay ang ipe-present ko dito is yung ano po yan sa third subtopic pa lang yan. May first at saka second. Kasi sinisimulan po natin based doon sa sa pangyayari sa session. Doon lang tayo sa study lang doon sa event during the session. Mahaba po yan. At ano ba yun? Yung fear ko, baka hindi ako makaabot dito sa sa event ng May 20 kung sisimulan ko sa May 6. Kaya minabuti ko na i-skip muna yung May 6 to the other succeeding. At dito tayo dumiretso sa event ng 1951. Okay, sa May 20. And then, pag may time tayo, later on, babalikan ko yun. Babalikan ko yun. Nung nag-uusap kami, consider kung meron ba tayong sapat na information na ipe-present within 6 days or 7 days. Baka paulit-ulit na lang. Kasi masyadong mahaba. Baka wala na tayong pwedeng masabi. Pero tinuloy pa rin kaya ito. Events during the split in the delegation on May 20, 1951. We will now consider the real cause of the separation among the delegates on May 20, 1951. We will look at the series of events that finally ended in the separation of the 11 delegates from the meeting. Emphasize ko naman. Okay, salamat. At si Brother Peter umamin na may separation noong 1951. Totoo po yun. But please, pag kayo po ay magkukwento sana sa labas, sasabihin niya na si Brother Peter, inamin niya at itinuro niya na may separation na nangyari noong 1951 from the meeting room. Huwag niyo pong bitinin o huwag niyong dagdagan na sabi, may separation. At naging 2 organization na noong 1951. Hindi ko po sinabi yan. Ang separation of the 11 delegates from the meeting room. Okay, dito tayo mag-start po sa ating minutes. May 20, 1951, Sunday, 9 a.m., the 13th day of the meeting. The delegation session on this day began at 9 a.m., but as soon as the business session began, the situation in the conference room became a series of become troublesome, medyo nakulang. Because of a series of irregularities and the spirit of domination of the session by the former leaders that provoked some of the delegates to leave the meeting room in protest, splitting the delegation into 2 factions. Number 1, the faction, the 11 delegates, the 11 protesting delegates outside the meeting room and the 14 delegates inside the meeting room. Okay. Word ko po yan, hindi quotation from the minutes yan. The quotation. Pero may mga quotation tayo sa minutes. I just make that summary. The 11 delegates tried to negotiate with the 14 delegates for the reading of the declaration in a combined session, but their efforts failed. Noong hapon ng May 20 and 21, nag-fail po yun. On May 22, 1951, the 11 delegates decided to go back to the conference room, but the 11 delegates already decided to leave the conference room and go to Utrecht, Holland, at the house of Brother Ringelberts and continue their meeting there at 4:30. Okay, thus, both factions independently organized or reorganized. Sabi kahapon, pwede natin gamitin organized or reorganized, pareho man lang ang ibig sabihin nun. Okay, so huwag tayong ma-confuse. And independently reorganized the Islam General Conference that was registered in 1949 with its headquarters in Sacramento, California, USA. The 14 delegates elected Islam GC officers on May 23, 1951, outside the original conference room at the house of Brother Ringelberts. The 11 delegates elected Islam GC officers on May 24, 1951, inside the original conference room in Sist, Holland. These separate reorganizations gave rise to the dispute as to which of these 2 sets of elected GC officers were to be recognized as the duly elected, qualified, and acting officers of the Islam SDA Reform Movement General Conference, a non-profit religious organization or corporation registered in 1949 in Sacramento, California, USA. So, Saan po ang reference natin na nag-organize yung 14 delegates on May 23? Meron po tayo pinakita kahapon. Yung document na pinadala ng IMS General Conference kay Brother Leon Lunugan. Nakita po natin yan kahapon na May 23 sila nag-organize ng officers of the Eastern General Conference. Yung 11 delegates naman po ay meron din tayong reference at yun ay yung minutes ng May 24. Okay? At saka yung General Conference Bulletin number 3. Yan po ang documentary reference natin yan. Open po yung document natin. Anybody can access to these documents. Okay, tuloy po natin. So, what was the true cause of this split among the delegates? Okay, what was the true cause? What were the series of events that led to the separation among the delegates? Let us look at the series of events that led to the split of the delegation into two parties. Okay. Letter A, series of events on May 20. Dito lang tayo sa May 20. At siyempre magsimula tayo sa morning session. Pagi yung sa afternoon. Morning. Here under are the series of events that took place on this day so that the readers will see what were the serious mistakes or irregularities done by the temporary chairman, Brother Engelbert, the former president, Brother Kosal, and the former vice president, Brother Muller, the other delegates who supported them. It was these irregularities that caused or provoked the 11 delegates to leave the meeting room in protest against these irregularities. Yung separation po ay yung pag-walk out ng 11 delegates from the meeting room. Pero ano po ang dahilan? Bakit nagkaroon ng walk out or separation from the meeting room? First, ito po. Brother Stewart asked permission from the chairman to read 3 reports nung nagsimula po yung session at 9 a.m. Okay, basahin natin. In the official minutes by C.T. Stewart, May 20, 1951, we read, in the opening of the business session of the delegation on May 20th, May 1951, Brother Stewart asked for permission to read 3 reports. The minutes, the report of the meeting of the delegates at Utrecht, and the declaration submitted by delegates connected with the assembly. Nagpaalam po ng maayos ng Maginoo si Brother Stewart sa chairman. Mapayapa po na nagsimula yung delegation session. Nagpaalam ng maayos. Pwede ko bang basahin ng 3 reports? At in-identify po yung mga 3 reports. Sabi dito, the report of the meeting of the delegates in Utrecht, that was referring to the meeting on May 16 ng delegates ng Islam at saka yung delegate ng mga rebellious group. At nangyari po doon sa Utrecht, sa bahay din ni Engelbert. Pero hindi pa na-report yun. Kaya ngayon babasahin yung reports. Next, the minutes. The minutes, ibig sabihin yung first pa lang, yung minutes of the previous day. Previous session, that was on May 19. Okay. Next, number 2 is yung report dun sa mga meeting sa Utrecht. And number 3, the declaration. Yung third report is the declaration, saan galing? Submitted by delegates connected with the assembly. So proper po yun dahil galing po doon sa mga delegado na legal. Okay? Ito naman, from the minutes prepared by the 14 delegates, May 20, 1951. Ito po. I-consider din natin yung sinulat ng other minutes. Kasi sa ayaw at gusto natin, ang totoo po, yung minutes na sinulat po ni Stewart ay Although masabi natin yung officer, dalawa po yun, yung long version na shorthand notes, tapos yung short version na yung regular minutes. Pero meron pong sinulat din yung 14 delegates na minutes. I-consider natin lahat yan. Magtulong-tulong para mas kompleto yung ating understanding. Hindi lang tayo mag-focus sa isa. Otherwise, ang information natin kulang. At kapag kulang yung information, the tendency is, ang conclusion natin, mas mataas ang risk na magkakamali tayo sa ating conclusion kapag yung basehan natin ay kulang yung information. Kaya, pagsamasamahin natin po itong tatlo. Ayan po. From the minutes by the 14 delegates, May 20, 1951, we read, after the ordinary session of the Assembly, Brother Stewart asked the question if it is permitted to read 3 reports. So, parehong 3 reports, ha? Nag-agree dyan. Okay. May dagdag na comment ng writer, given the appearance that it was here concerned the reports of the last meetings. Since by this appearance, the chairman approved of this. Approve of this. Okay. Pero, may kulang. Since by this appearance daw na yung reports of the last meeting. Report of the last meeting, ibig sabihin, nung 19, isa lang. Pero tatlo ang binanggit eh. Pwede pa magiging tatlo ang report in the last meeting? Hindi pwede. Isa lang. Pero binanggit, in-specify kasi doon na yung meeting ng the previous session, plus yung meeting pa yung hindi na report ng 16, plus yung declaration submitted by the delegates. That composed the 3 reports. From these 2 historical documents, we learn that the request of Brother Stewart to read 3 reports was approved by the chairman. What happened next? Second, the first 2 reports were read and accepted, but opposition was made against the reading of the 3rd report, also called Declaration of Protest. Declaration o Declaration of Protest. I put it question marks kasi meron akong pinagkunan na dokumento. O na yung declaration ay tinawag din na Declaration of Protest. Okay. Dito. From the minutes by the 14 delegates, ito naman ha. Yung kuha tayo sa isa, kuha din sa isa, para makumpleto. When 2 reports had been read, Brother Stewart began to read the declaration, began with 2 Chronicles 15:2, Jeremiah 6 verse 16. So, ibig sabihin, nagsimula na palang magbasa. Tumayo na nabasahin na yung 3rd report. Okay, ongoing na. Tapos may ano daw, may 2 Corinthians 15:2, Jeremiah 6:16. Napakinggan nila yon na nabasa. Sa the Ringal verse stated that this declaration was signed by different delegates. So nakita niya daw na may baka yung malapit kasi yung chairman, nagbabasa doon, baka tinitingnan din niya. Nakita na it was signed by some delegates. Hindi lang isa ang pumirma. Whether isang pumirma o maraming pumirma, that does not make it illegal. Meron kasi nagsasabi na, bakit ang daming pirma? That's not much kung maraming pumirma. Hindi naman illegal yun. Okay, wala namang rule na dapat yung pag may isa lang ang pirma. Kasi declaration na, submitted by delegates connected with the assembly. He asked the question, what this meant and what were the contents of this declaration? There arose uneasiness on the part of Nicolisi and his supporters. Okay, sa observation nila yun sa observation nila yun kasi hindi naman mababasa yung isip. Okay, so parang pa rin natin ito. Nakasulat kaya yung sumulat dito, sa kanyang observation na may uneasiness daw. Napansin niya. Okay. Next, from the official minutes by C.T. Stewart, we read, the first 2 reports were accepted, but opposition was made to the 3rd report. Opposition was made. Dito naman sa shorthand notes by C.T. Stewart, May 20, 1951, we read, Brother Stewart asked to be given opportunity to read the 3 reports. 2 were permitted, the report of the meeting at Utrecht and the minutes of the delegation meeting on May 18. So, mas kompleto. May tinagdag information. But the third, the declaration of protest was prevented by tactical maneuver. Okay. Tuloy natin. Apparently, ito aking comment ha. Apparently, it was the chairman himself that opposed the reading of the 3rd report. He did not honor his own word when he earlier approved the reading of the 3 reports. At sabi ko apparently, kasi ang chairman lang naman ang merong karapatan na magpahinto sa ano yun. Yan ang rule sa meeting. Hindi naman yung other delegates pahihintuan nila. Wala silang right noon. Chairman ang may right doon to stop anybody. Napahintuin kung merong valid reason. So, this was the first irregularity committed by the temporary chairman. O, sinabi ko na irregularity, anak ko na. When a person politely asks permission to speak or read something during the session and he is given permission to do so, once he took the floor and starts talking, he should be allowed to continue without interruption until he finished. Ginagawa natin yun di ba? Pag may nag-interrupt, di ba may umaangal? Mag-interrupt. Ano yung chairman, kung yung peacekeeper, kung mag-interrupt sa akin, panahon ko ito. Ika yan, panahon ko ito. So, sabi ko, ako ang nagsabi. Huwag nang hanapin dun sa dokumento. Ako ang nagsabi. Based on my evaluation, it is impolite and unethical to stop the speaker from finishing the reading of the 3rd report for the following reasons. First, Brother Stewart politely asked permission from the chairman to read the 3 reports, and he was granted permission. So, hindi illegal ang ginagawa niya. Brother Stewart did not just go in front to read the declaration without permission. He was not disorderly in his behavior also. Number 2, the 3rd report called declaration was submitted by delegates connected with the assembly, and therefore it was not something illegal. Because it is within the rights to submit any documents or agenda for discussion to the delegation. Third, the chairman has the power to maintain order during the meeting by seeing to it that rules of order in the conference are obeyed and to stop any disorderly behavior. Tama yung karapatan ng chairman. Brother Stewart was not behaving disorderly. And he did not violate any rule of order in the conference. Kasi paalam siya ng maayos. Therefore, the chairman has no valid reason to stop him from reading what he was permitted to do na hindi matatapos. So what happened next? Pagkatapos nun, third, there was a motion that the 3rd report be read. And it was carried, but it was overruled by the chairman, Brother Engelberts. May motion. Ano ang sabi ng motion? That the report be read. Saan? Yan ang motion. Saan nanggaling ang motion na yun? From the body. Particularly, galing doon sa mga proponent ng declaration. Dahil sila yung gumawa, silang nag-submit, siyempre silang mag-motion na basahin. Alangan naman yung contrary side. Hindi, wala silang pakialam doon. Hindi nalaan na yun paano nila yung motion. So this motion came from those who are advocates of this declaration. So in the official minutes, C.T. Stewart, we read that a motion was carried that the report be read, but it was overruled by the chairman, Brother Engelberts. This was the second and most serious among the irregularities committed by the chairman that caused the separation of the 11 delegates from the 14 delegates in the meeting room. This event was not recorded in the minutes by the 14 delegates. So, hindi recorded doon sa minutes sa kabila. Pero, I-consider pa rin natin yun. I-consider din natin yung nakasulat doon. Okay. Observation lang na yung particular point na ito, hindi nila inirecord sa kabila. Pero naka-record dito. Okay, question. Based on parliamentary procedure, when does a chairman say motion carried and what does that phrase means? Okay. Ito ang quotation natin galing din sa www.answers.com. Okay. In parliamentary procedure, a motion or suggested resolution is proposed by the mover, one of the people at the meeting. A seconder, another person at the meeting, agrees that the suggestion should be discussed. The chair, yung chairman, the person running the meeting, calls for discussion on the motion. If it appears that the suggestion should be voted, someone will call for the question. The chair will once it appears that there is no more discussion, call for those in favor of the motion, those who agree, to signal, usually by raising hands, and then call for those who are opposed, who disagree. If those who agree outnumber those who if those who agree outnumber those who do not, the chair says, motion carried. So, kailan sasabihin na motion carried? Kapag majority ang bumoto ng in favor, kaunti lang yung oppose. Pero pagka majority ang nag-oppose, hindi niya sasabihin na carried. Sasabihin na niya, motion failed. Kaya walang bisa na yung motion. Kasi hindi na na-carry. Eh, ayon sa record, sabi dito, the motion was carried. Ano yung sabi ng motion? That the report be read. So, based on parliamentary procedure, when a motion is carried, it means it has been voted upon and majority voted in favor of the motion. This being so, we may safely conclude that the statement in the official minutes that says a motion was carried that the report be read means that a vote was taken to decide whether to read the report or declaration and majority voted in favor of the motion to read the declaration. Do we have any example in the official minutes by C.T. Stewart where a motion was carried and it was verified that a vote was taken and majority voted in favor of the motion? May example ba tayo natutong ganun talagang nangyari? Yung sa tinatawag na parliamentary procedure, nangyari ba talaga during meeting na yun? 1951? Answer, yes. In the official minutes by C.T. Stewart on May 9, 1951, we read, ito ang isa. Point number 6, Brother Mueller moved that Brother Kishner be asked to return to the assembly to take part in the discussion in an advisory capacity. This was carried. Ayun lang ang statement, it was carried. Wala namang sinabing pinagbotohan. Pero it is understood sa parliamentary procedure, mapag sinabing it was carried, pinagbotohan and majority agreed with the motion. So the sentence, this was carried, means that a vote was taken and majority voted in favor of the motion of Brother Mueller, that Brother Kishner be asked to return to the assembly to take part in the discussion in an advisory capacity. This was carried. Pero kung basahin natin sa short meeting yan, walang mababasa na pinagbotohan. Walang mabasa, ilang bumoto ng yes, ilang bumoto ng no. Pero doon sa sinasabi ko, this fact is confirmed in the shorthand notes by C.T. Stewart, May 9, 1951, page 14, where it reads, Brother Mueller moved that Brother Kishner be brought back with the right to take part in the discussion. 13 voted for, 12 against. Kaya carried kasi 14 yung bumoto, 13 yung nag-oppose. Kaya na-carried. Pero wala dun sa minutes na shorter version. Nandun binasa natin sa tawag na shorthand notes ng mahaba ng minute. Kaya linawin po natin yung sinabi sa official minutes by C.T. Stewart, May 20, 1951, that a motion was carried, that the report be read, means that the motion was voted upon by the delegation and majority voted in favor of the motion that the report be read. This is the meaning of the statement in the minutes that A motion was carried that the report be read. However, the decision of the delegation that the report be read was overruled by the chairman, Brother Ringelberts. So, settle na tayo dun sa paano unawain yung carried, ha? Question. Dito tayo sa issue ng overruled. Anong ibig sabihin it was overruled? So, what does the word overruled mean? According to Cambridge Business English Dictionary, Cambridge University Press, to overrule means to use greater authority to change a decision that has already been made. May decision na nga nagawa, in-overrule pa, pinalitan. Ibig sabihin, ni-reject yun, sa purpose na papalitan yun. Ha? Pero sinong mag-overrule? Sabi dito, to use greater authority to change a decision. This action of the chairman, when he overruled the decision of the delegation that the report be read, means that he presumed or he assumed. Palitan na natin yung assume. He assumed to have a higher authority than the authority of the General Conference that decided that the report be read. Yan po yung interpretation doon pag may nag-overrule. Ibig sabihin, parang pinapalabas na siya ay merong higher authority to overrule yung decision ng nag-decide. Okay. You may think that this action of the chairman is a small matter, but it is actually a serious offense, mga kapatid. No, ino-overlook ito eh. Pumupunta doon sa last part. Pero dito, you think that this action of the chairman is small matter, but it is actually a serious offense. For it is an act of rebellion against the highest authority that God has placed in the church. Overruling the decision of the delegation section is an exercise of kingly power. Diba yung, halimbawa, may nag-decision yung local church, dumating yung chairman, yung elder, nag-decide kayo, ay, ayaw ba yan? Anong tawag doon? He is exercising kingly power. Yan po ang doon. Overruling the decision of the delegation session is an exercise of kingly power on the part of the chairman, Brother Ringelberts, because the authority of the delegation is higher than his authority as chairman. And yet a single individual, presume or assume to have a higher authority that he can overrule the decision of the delegation. It is an act of insubordination also because the chairman refused to submit to the higher authority of the delegation. This bold act of the chairman naturally induced righteous indignation in the heart of some delegates who were keen to protect and preserve the honor and integrity of the General Conference delegation. Session, to whom God has given the highest authority in the church. Kaya kung sa Senado pa, sabi ng mga senador, ikaw, binabastos mo yung institution na ito. Kasi may legal right yung Senate eh. Ito yung delegation session, merong right and authorities binigay ng Diyos yan. I have often been instructed, sabi ng ni Sister White, sa volume 9, page 260, I have often been instructed by the Lord that no man's judgment should be surrendered to the judgment of any other one man. Never should the mind of one man or the minds of a few men be regarded as sufficient in wisdom and power to control the work and to say what plans should be followed. But when in a general conference, the judgment of the brethren assembled from all parts of the field is exercised, private, independent, and private judgment must not be stubbornly maintained, but surrendered. Never should a laborer regard as a virtue the persistent maintenance of his position of independence, contrary to the decision of the general body. Eh dito, isang individual, kalibasa chairman, siya ang nag-chair sa meeting. Anong ginawa niya? I-overrule niya. So, anong sabi dito? He exercised an independence contrary to the decision of the general body. God has ordained that the representative of His church from all parts of the earth when assembled in a general conference, shall have authority. Anong description ng authority na yan? Sabi dito, Volume 3, Testimonies 492. I have been shown that no man's judgment should be surrendered to the judgment of any one man, but when the judgment of the General Conference, which is the highest authority that God has upon the earth, is exercised, private independence and private judgment must not be maintained, but be surrendered. Your error was in persistently maintaining your private judgment of your duty against the voice of the highest authority the Lord has put upon the Lord has upon the earth. Yan po ang nakasulat. Kaya, yung iba, parang ini-ignore nila ito, parang wala lang. But we should take this into consideration. Kung gusto natin na unawain natin yung side ng 11 delegates, kung one-sided lang tayo, we will look only on the other side at hindi natin pakinggan naman yung nasa side ng kumbaga, yung mga binubuli at saka pine-persecute. Kung minsan, yung mga nabubuli, kahit karapatan na yung nayuyurakan, may mga bias towards sa iba kaya nilang unawain kasi nakalining doon sila sa bullier, hindi doon sa binubuli. God has bestowed the highest power under heaven upon His church. It is the voice of God in His united people in church capacity, which is to be respected. Di ba kahapon na-emphasize, we have to respect yung mga leaders natin, which is correct. We have to respect the leaders, our leaders, because they were also given a certain degree of authority, but not over the authority of the General Conference. Kasi maliit lang yung authority na hawak ng mga leaders. Ang highest authority ay ibinigay doon sa General Conference, made up of representatives from all parts of the world. God has invested His church with His special authority and power, which no one can be justified in disregarding and despising, for in so doing, they despises the voice of God. Yan po mga kapatid. Testimonies Volume 3, page 460. So imagine mga kapatid, a chairman who could presume to have a higher authority to overrule the decision of the highest authority that God has upon the earth. By overruling the decision of the delegation, Brother Engelbert was actually disrespecting, disregarding, and despising the voice of God. Remember that to overrule means to use greater authority to change a decision that has already been made. But does the chairman has a greater authority than the delegation? No, wala po. He only assumed to have such a kingly power or authority to do it. Kaya nga doon sabi na, they were protesting against what? Protesting against the, irregularities and domination, yung pag-practice ng kingly power. What Brother Engelbert did could be likened to what the Pope did in assuming to have a higher authority to change the law of Jehovah, the highest power in heaven and upon the earth. Engelbert's action was a very clear act of disrespecting and rebellion against the authority of the General Conference, the highest authority that God has upon the earth. And Brother Kosser and Muller were strongly backing up Engelbert in his defiance of the authority of the General Conference delegation session. Pwede ba i-explain na or ma-disturb yung ibang kasama sa pakikinig.
Okay. Meron pa pong 26 minutes and 6 seconds. Pinapaabot po na makinig sa presentation para maiwasan po yung distract. Salamat po. I-resume po yung time. 26 minutes and 6 seconds. Okay, start. Ayaw.
Sorry kasi nadidistract din ako pag nakikita ka. Nadidistract yung aking mind. Fourth, Brother Kosel made some further accusation against those who supported the declaration. huwag kayong mag-alala. Kung meron mang hindi nabasa dito yan, is hindi ibig sabihin na hindi natin babasahin. Babasahin pa rin po yan. At the right time. Inaano lang natin, point by point lang yung ating presentation, mga kapatid. So, Brother Apostle made some further accusation against those who supported the declaration. In the official minutes by C.T. Stewart, we read that Brother Apostle made some further accusations against those who supported the declaration. As a delegate, Brother Apostle has the right, kilalanin natin yan. May right siya kasi delegate yun eh. Has the right to speak in the session, to voice out what he has in mind. And it was all right for the chairman to allow him to speak. Bakit? Karapat na magsalita eh. Delegate siya. O kaya okay lang na. Pinayagan talaga ng chairman. Give credit to whom credit is due. Ano nyo? It was noted that he made some further accusations against those who supported the declaration. It means that he has previously made accusation and now he made further accusation. Kasi yung sabing he made further accusation, yung statement na yun, ibig sabihin, merong previous na accusation, he made further accusations. Ganun lang po. Analysis lang yun. It means that he has previously made accusations and now he made further accusations against those who supported the declaration. What's next? Fifth, sentence by sentence natin na ina-analyze. The chairman refused to permit legal delegates to reply to accusations against them, while he permitted non-delegates to enter into the discussions. In the minutes by C.T. Stewart, we read that the chairman refused to permit any reply to be made in defense of those who were accused, while at the same time the chairman permitted non-delegates who were present to enter into discussions. Here, the chairman made two more irregularities in addition to the two irregularities noted kanina. Meron pang additional na dalawang irregularities dito na ginawa niya. First, the chairman refused to permit any reply to be made in defense of those who were accused. Irregularity ito. His refusal to permit the accused delegates to reply to the accusations against them was the third series of irregularities committed by the chairman. Why? This was a clear violation of the rights of the accused delegates to defend themselves. This is a case of human rights violation, kung tawagin. The rights of a person to reply to accusations against him is acknowledged even by Brother Mueller. Alam mo, earlier sa discussion in the previous, mga kapatid, ginamit, inassert ni Brother Mueller yung right niya na mapakinggan sana yung side din niya. Na siya mag-explain doon sa accusations. So in the shorthand notes by C.T. Stewart, page 24, Brother Mueller is quoted as saying, Nicolesia has made a statement against me. I have not had an opportunity to answer my actions. If a man is accused, he should answer the question and accusations brought against him. Tama ba yun? Sinasabi niya na yun? Tama yun. Karapatan talaga niya yun. Yung pang sa 11 delegates, wala din silang karapatan na gano'n. Meron din. Kung may karapatan si Mueller na mag-demand na dapat na bigyan siya ng time na sagutin yung mga accusation laban sa kanya, may right din itong 11 delegates na mag-reply. Pero inalis ng chairman yung karapatan sa kanila. He did not permit them to make any reply. And that is irregular. Second, the chairman permitted non-delegates who were present to enter into the discussion. This was the fourth of a series of irregularities committed by the chairman. It was illegal and unfair for the chairman to allow non-delegates to enter into the discussion while he refused to permit the legal delegates who were being accused by Apostle to reply to the accusation. Kayo ang humusga. Irregularity ba yan o hindi? But I believe irregularity talaga yan. Ito, tingnan nyo ha. In the shorthand notes by City Stewart, we learned that on Thursday night, the delegation made an agreement that the only delegates only delegates should participate in the discussion. Ito po ang mababasa sa shorthand notes ni City Stewart, May 18, 1951. Brother Labrit, sabi niya, so that we may save time, I cannot see why Brother Corkman should speak at this time. Since he is not a union president and has no report to present, he does not represent any union conference. Therefore, at the delegation session, he has no right to speak or take part in our discussion and waste our time. If he has a question, it should be discussed at the right place. Last night, 18 yan ha, last night, ano yun? Thursday night. Kasi Friday yun niya sinabi ito, last night. Last night, all agreed that none should speak except the delegates, and that the accused should have the same time to speak as the accusers. Ano?
19 minutes.
Okay. So meron palang agreement sila Thursday night na huwag nang pasalitain itong mga non-delegates. Kasi nakikisaw-saw sila sa discussion. Lalong nagugulo pag sumasaw-saw ang mga hindi delegates. Nakisaw-saw sila Noon, originally, they were allowed to participate pero in the right manner. Pero noong nagiging na-abuse na yung permission na yon, they decided now na huwag na silang payagan. Okay. Pero dito, after na may decision na yon, hindi pa sinunod ng chairman. This decision of the delegation on Thursday evening or Thursday night that none should speak except the delegates was violated by the chairman when he permitted non-delegates who were present to enter into the discussions. This was the second time that the decision of the delegation was not followed by the chairman. Second time na yun na hindi niya sinunod. Sinet aside niya, inignore niya, violate niya yung decision ng delegation. This exercise of kingly power is condemned by the spirit of prophecy. The chairman this action of the chairman was not only illegal, but it was an act of rebellion against the legal authority of the General Conference delegation in session itself. Kasi hindi siya nagpasakop doon sa sa authority ng General Conference. Nini-exercise na yung pagka-temporary niya na para bang mas mataas siya kaysa delegation. Ang tawag doon domination of the session. Nagdo-dominate siya. Nag-exercise ng kingly power parang hari. Diba, normal dito na pag nag-uusap tayo at may nagdo-dominate, ano ang comment natin? Ano ba ito si Brother Peter? Naghari-harian sa meeting natin. Naghari-harian. Kala mo siya ang hari, kung anong gusto niya, ginagawa na lang, kahit labag sa batas, lagat sa peace and order. So, the chairman is obviously trying to dominate the session by acting like a king who has the highest authority to overrule the decisions of the delegation section. What happened next? Ano ang sumunod na event? 6. The chairman asked for a second vote on the original motion to read the third report. Mamaya, sasabihin na naman, saan mababasa, Brother Peter, doon sa minutes na second vote? Wala mababasa na second vote. Pero unawaan nila, i-apply niya yun, yung pinag-aralan natin, nasabi nila, hindi naman kailangan mabasa kung nakita mo yung resulta. Halimbawa, dito may nangyayari dito, may votation, tapos may second votation. Wala namang nagsabi na nangyari lang. Mali ba na i-describe mo na yung una ay first, yung pangalawa ay second? Hindi yan mali. Kaya, huwag na akong hanapan mamaya saan mababasa yung word na second vote. Saan mababasa sa minutes yung word ng first vote. Okay. In the official minutes by City Stewart, we read yung idea nandun, pero yung word for word wala. Okay, pero tingnan natin I submit this for investigation. You examine din ninyo kung tama yung aking unawa. Ganito. A further vote was taken and the majority of the delegates decided not to hear the declaration. Sabi ko, yung idea ng second vote nandito, pero hindi lang nabanggit yung second vote. Yung word na a further vote was taken. No, the clause, a further vote was taken indicates that there was a first vote made earlier on the motion to read the third report. The first vote is indicated by the earlier statement. The motion was carried that the report be read, but it was overruled by the chairman, Brother Engelbert. For a while, a further vote was taken. The majority of the delegates decided not to hear the declaration. Yung minutes dito sa 14 delegates, dumiretso lang sila doon sa second na votes na ito. Hindi nila binanggit yung first na motion was carried but it was overruled. Inumit nila yun. Dumiretso sila doon sa second. So question, what did brother, ito isaside ko. Ano na lang natin ito. Baka, wala, nakita na.
Kita na.
Pero, kahit naman hindi dito, nandun naman sa social media, mababasa naman yan sa public. So, matakot. Hindi naman sila, siguro ako niya papasamayin. Kasi, ito naman talaga ang sinabi niya sa akin. Nandun na yun. Open. What did Brother Bong Hasdiba, Minister of IMS SDA Church Reform Movement, teach regarding the events in May 20, 1951 as recorded in... hindi as recorded. Hindi pa na-edit, no?
Edit mo na yan. Sinakita.
As recorded doon sa social media ba? Ito, commenting on my post sa group chat na Truth of Islam and IMS Islam, ay ganito ang sinabi ni Brother Bong Hasdiba. Kapatid na Peter Kayong Kayuhen, please huwag niyo pong i-insist yung wala. Wala pong first vote at second vote. Kahit sa minutes na ginawa ninyo noong umalis na kayo ay wala pong sinabi mong first vote at second vote. At sa totoong pangyayari ay wala talagang first and second vote. So, isubmit natin yun for evaluation. Let the listeners decide. Karapatan nyo yan na kung alin ang piliin yan yung paniwalaan, and then study the minutes kung ano ang personal niyong unawa. Huwag kayong mag-depend sa sinabi ni Brother Bong. Huwag kayong mag-depend sa sinabi ko. Basahin ninyo yung documents. Question, tama ba ang turo ni Brother? Okay, sa akin comment ko, na kahit sa minutes ng ISDARM na sinulat ni City Stewart ay walang sinabi na nangyari na dalawang botohan noong umaga ng May 20, 1951. Akin lang po, sagot ko mali po. Aral na yon sapagkat ang turong niya ay salungat sa turo ni ito, ipag-compare ko yung turo ni Idel Suarez, yung dating presidente nila. Brother Idel Suarez Jr., the former IMS SDA Church Reform Movement president, sa kanyang sinulat na a brief analysis of the minutes of 1951 na pinadala niya kay Brother Leon Lunugan, kaya nagkaroon ako ng kopya. Anong sabi dito? Page 3 ay ganito ang sinabi ni Pastor Idel Suarez Jr. On Sunday, May 20, a declaration of 20 points was signed by 11 delegates before the meeting officially reconvened. 2 votes, doon sa point 6, 2 votes were taken to decide whether to read the declaration. So may dalawang vote sa kanyang analysis. Pero sa analysis ng iba, wala daw. Pero sa analysis niya meron. Sa analysis ko rin meron. Medyo harmonize yung analysis ni Brother Idel Suarez sa aking analysis na merong 2 votes were taken to decide whether to read the declaration na may motion kasi ganun. The first vote decided that it would be read. Yung first vote, yung decided that it would be read. Kaya tama si Stewart na sabi niya, a motion was carried that the motion that the report be read, but it was overruled by the chairman. The second vote decided that it would be read later after Brother Kaufman presented his defense. Okay, so dito, medyo sa 2 votes, nagkaparehas kami ng analysis. Pero dito sa second yung sinabi niya, the second vote decided that it would be read later after Brother Kaufman presented his defense. Dito kami nagkaiba ng analysis. Okay. This statement of Brother Idal Suarez Jr. is a mixture of truth and error. Ako ang nagsabi doon, ha? Ang nagsabi. Kaya ako ang tatanungin nyo, bakit ko sinabi yun? Huwag nyo akong hanapan na saan mababasa sa dokumento.
Sige.
Ito analysis ko. Analysis kontra analysis.
9 minutes.
Truth. 2 votes were taken to decide whether to read the declaration. Itong testimony ni Idal Suarez Jr. na may 2 botohan na nangyari ay totoo, kaya malinaw po na mali ang turo ni Brother Steve kung ikumpara doon. Okay? Truth. Number 2. The first vote decided that it would be read. Tama po yun. Nag-agree doon sa minutes ni Stewart. Ito naman ang sa tingin ko ay error. The second vote decided that it would be read later after Brother Kaufman presented his defense. This is wrong because the minutes, sa aking analysis, this is wrong because the minutes states that a further vote was taken and the majority of the delegates decided not to hear the declaration. Wala pong dagdag na they will hear the declaration after si Kaufman. Wala yun sa hindi part ng motion yun. Although merong nag-suggest ng ganon na idea dun sa discussion na it should be read after, but it was not part of the motion na nanggaling dun sa
Bali.
advocate ng nabasahin. It did not say a further vote was, it did not say that a further vote was taken and the majority of the delegates decided that the report be read after Brother Kaufman presented his defense. Alam kung ganun na nakasulat sa minutes. Hindi po ganyan ang nakasulat sa official minutes. Walang sinabi doon na after Brother Kaufman presented his defense. So, idinagdag lamang po yan ni Idal Suarez based sa kanyang analysis naman. So, I submit that for investigation. 7. The liberty of the delegates was taken and no discussion was permitted regarding the declaration. Bago ko ituloy yun, pagkitin ko na yung idea na present ni yan, kasama sa discussion yun, pero hindi kasama sa motion. Hindi kasama sa motion. Kaya yung na-approvean, yung motion, hindi yung idea ng ibang delegates. Okay? Na ganun. Yung na-approvean sa motion, sa delegation, yung motion. Yung mga idea lang na explanation ng iba, hindi kasama yun. Diba? Ang pagbobotohan motion lang. Hindi yung idea ng iba. So in short, ito, the liberty of the delegates was taken and no discussion was permitted regarding the declaration. In the official minutes by City Stewart, we read that after the second vote was taken and majority of the delegates decided not to hear the declaration, the minutes went on to say that at this point, the liberty of the delegates was taken and no discussion was permitted. What does that mean? Sabi dito, sa shorthand minutes, Brother Muller, the chairman in charge of the meetings, no one can talk without his permission. Sabi ni Muller, in the delegation, no one is in favor of the reading of the declaration. The chairman simply did not allow any opportunity for the declaration to be read. Okay, respetuhin natin ito. Right nga, as a chairman. Kasi right ng chairman talaga na pag magulo na, pwede naman niyang i-close yun eh. Right ngayon. So what happened next? Hey, upon the insistence of Brother Kosel, the case of Brother Kaufman was opened and he was allowed to speak to the delegation. Sabi dito, Brother Kaufman again spoke and insisted on the order of the conference to proceed, but the case of Brother Kaufman, whom he was defending, was open again and it was entirely out of order. Okay, sabi dito, sa comment, Brother Kosel forced the issue and insisted that Brother Kaufman should continue to speak when it was clear that this case belonged to the American Union and it was entirely out of order to bring it to the GC delegation session. So yan po mga kapatid. This was the fifth irregularity committed by the chairman with the backing of Brother Kosel and Brother Muller. Okay, the opening of the case of Corman on Sunday morning was contrary to the provision of the Constitution. Medyo wala ng time, 5 minutes na lang. Kaya, idiretso ko, because of this series of irregularities and practice of kingly power or domination, ano po ang nangyari? Okay. Dito na tayo sa baba. Nangyari po, nagkaroon ng separation. Ano po yung separation? May lumabas na mga delegates. Okay. Marami pa kasi dito ang ano yan. Pero, sige lang. Okay. Punta tayo doon sa sinabi. Malinaw po ang sabi dito sa minutes ng May 20. Okay, check yung sa minutes. Okay, ilasan mo lang. Minutes ng 1951. Okay, dito makita. Pero binasa na natin po. Na pagkatapos po niyan, pinatayo nila si Corman magsalita, doon na po lumabas yung 11 delegates. Bakit po sila lumabas? Kasi that is a continual violation of the Constitution. Nangyari na po yung violation kasi, hindi lang natin kinuha yung background. Noong May 17, ganito po yun, na-violate yung Constitution noong May 17. Nag-object yung mga delegates na huwag nang ipasok yung case ni Corman dahil unconstitutional yan. Sundin natin yung proper order. Inignore po niya. Pagka May 18, sabi niya huwag nang pag-usapan sana ito. Pero patuloy na inignore yung Constitution. Pinasalita pa rin. Diniscuss pa rin yung kaso ni Corman. In-insist ng chairman. Pagka May 20, ipinasok pa rin. Kaya sabi yung continual irregularity. Patuloy, 3 days na ipinipilit yung irregularity na yon na violation ng Constitution. Kaya ngayon, they walk out in protest. At ano po ang sabi doon? Malinaw po, yung cause ng separation was the irregularities committed by the former brethren. Sabi dito, at this point, the liberty of the delegates was taken and no discussion was permitted. Brother Kosel again spoke and insisted on the order of the conference to proceed, but the case of Brother Corman, whom he was defending, was open again and it was entirely out of order. When Brother Corman began his remarks, several of the delegates left the meeting, and finally 11 delegates left the meeting in protest against the continual irregularities and domination of the sessions by the former leaders, Brethren Kosel and Muller, who had not given up their office, and the chairman, Brother Engelberts. Kaya kung wala itong mga violations ng Constitution, wala itong mga irregularities, uuna sana ang reform movement. Wala nang separation na nangyari noong 1951. Walang magwo-walk out yan kung sinunod lamang yung Constitution. Pero dahil dinalapastangan yung Constitution, yung proper order, meron silang different idea ng proper order which is against the Constitution. Kaya po, lumabas sila in protest. And that is the real cause of the separation. Huwag po natin isisi lahat doon sa lumabas. Meron ding bahagi itong mga gumawa ng mga irregularities. Pareho pong both side nakakontribute. Yung isang side lang ayaw banggitin yung kanilang error na nakakontribute. Although inamin naman nitong precipitately, kung naghintay lang sana sila, baka mas okay pa ang impact. Pero they precipitately left the meeting. Pero ano ang nag-provoke sa kanila? Yung irregularities na patuloy kasi 3 days na linalapastangan yung Constitution ng Church. Kaya po, unawain natin yung both sides. Huwag tayong magiging bias.
Amen.
Aminin natin na pareho pong may pagkukulang. At kung ako ang kusga,
1 minute.
alam niyo po, mas mabigat po ang contribution ng 14 delegates kaysa yung 11. Pero pareho silang may pagkukulang, irregularities on one side, mistake of leaving precipitately ang ginawa ng 14. Those are the factors that resulted po doon sa separation. Kaya pag ang mag-asawa nagkahiwalay,
Seconds.
kahit na tayo po ay pamilya ng lalaki, huwag puro kampi sa lalaki. Kilalanin naman natin yung right ng babae. Para maganda yung ayos. Pero pag one-sided tayo, puro lang kampihan tayo ng porque pamilya natin. Idiin natin yung sa kabila. Mali po yun. We have to fair in our judgment. Yan lang po mga kapatid. Let's be fair.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much.
Amen. Okay, thank you so much, Brother Peter, sa iyong presentation.